Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the channel. I look forward to talking to you a little bit today about KERC. Hopefully, you get some new information that you haven't already seen. There's lots of content out there about KERC right now. Lots of AMAs with John. I do recommend you do a fair amount of research on this. I'm going to go through a couple of little different goods, pros, cons kind of thing that I've kind of walking myself through when trying to make a decision on this one. And then at the end, we'll talk about whether I'm going to go into it and all that kind of stuff, the usual teaser at the start. Before we really get going, please do hit that like and subscribe button down below. I do want to kick that going again. I've kind of slacked a little bit in making content. I've been doing a lot of stuff trying to find ways to grow in this space and learn more and do more. And so it's taken me a little bit away from the videos other than my blockchain after hours with Hidden, who doxed and came out when it was on camera with me on the last one. So if you haven't seen a blockchain after hours, please come on by. We do them every Tuesday now at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and love to just go shoot the breeze about pretty much anything crypto related, and oftentimes highlight a few things that we're looking into and go from there. So if you haven't done that, like I said, like and subscribe, and let's go from there. So redefining healthcare. So the KERC is basically looking to purchase. The long and the short of it, I guess, the 40 Arcan view is they're looking to purchase in Malaysia different personal healthcare places, and then also a lot of other revenue sources, which we'll get into in a moment when we do a little brief touch on the white paper. I don't want to. The white paper is actually really, really good. I recommend you have a look at it. But I'm not going to waste too much time going through that. I'll leave that to you to go through, as well as lots of other content out there, like I said. I love anything IRL, so in real life, where they're looking to take the in real life stuff and pull it into the blockchain and make the blockchain and make the this technology go in the direction that it should be going. And healthcare is one really great revenue source, like high margin type products and stuff, and a really good space that I'd like to see come into this space for a lot of different reasons. Things like your records being more locked up on the blockchain and you having personal ownership or control over them, something that other companies are looking to do. And it sounds like during some of the stuff I've read, that's even kind of a goal for these guys as well. But I'm assuming more for where their clinics are, not here for us in Canada or US or anything like that. In this case, even using the token to purchase your services with. So if you go to one of the doctors or one of the clinics that they own, you'd be able to use these tokens to purchase your healthcare needs with, which is pretty cool. And earning some passive income. It's got the best of everything. The good thing is this kind of protocol or kind of way to make money is only really available to venture capitalists. So with large sums of money where you can buy into the company and the corporation, it's not for the little guy. So this is where I'm really liking these kind of more disruptive types of opportunities where it's really kicking the whole thing on its head and giving an opportunity for the little guy or any of us to kind of get in and own a piece of this pie. The other neat thing, and where this could be very, very opportunistic for us all, is these are the kind of plays, I think, in DeFi that could become the Amazons or the Google of the future. So if we get into the ground floor like this is where we're really going to be able to get some pretty darn big wins, get a lot of tokens under our belts, hopefully, and that kind of stuff, which will be very beneficial for us personally. Not financial advice. Please do your own research. This is still super risky, and I'm going to go in through some reasons why as I go through some of the information that I've got here for you. But I do think there's definitely some value, and I think everybody should be looking at this as an opportunity, at least anyways. Whether you choose to get in or get out, that is your choice and your choice alone. But hopefully I can add some value or give you some opportunities to learn a little bit and go through that. So the website, really, I mean, nothing crazy here. This is not a industry that, like, there's a lot of legislation, a lot of barriers of entry. This is not something the average guy can usually get investing in, and that's where I like the idea behind this, and the fact that they've got somebody at the helm that seems to know a whole lot on how this industry works and can hopefully has the ability and the know-how to make sure it's managed very, very well. And that's the hope here, and that's where I think you should take a look at some AMAs with John, get to know John a little bit, and see if you think he's the right guy for the job. And if he is, then you might want to back him with some money. So, sustainable, unleashed, recession-proof industries. I mean, the healthcare industry, it's here no matter what. It's needed no matter what. Everybody needs healthcare, and so if he's in a place where the purchasing power is good because he's able to get them at a discount, which is sort of the reason why he's starting in the sector and in the place that he's starting is in the world, because I guess the dollar's good, the ability to purchase, the purchasing power is good. So something that might cost us $1 million here might only cost to purchase down there 100,000, 200,000. So that's one big thing. And I actually did work in my banking industry. I did work with professionals, and I did work financing purchases like pharmacies, like clinics, and all this different stuff. So I can tell you that price points, yeah, can range from 1 to 2 million kind of thing for some of these if they have a bricks and mortar building to go with it or whatnot. And if he's able to buy these for a lot cheaper down there, but still create the same margin bases, or at least the margin percentages and stuff, then it could be quite good for everybody. So there is obviously your regular roadmap here, so come have a peek at that. Right now they're releasing their I guess I don't know where we're at, but they're basically selling their tokens. So, and then leadership team. So John, as I said, have a look at him. Founder, CTO, and I believe the developer is Snarky Pie. I believe you can see his LinkedIn as well. I've seen him on a bunch of AMAs and stuff. And then they've got the head of finance and operations. So nothing crazy there. Other than that, the pre-sale is live. It went live, obviously 6 days or. Sorry, guys. It went live today, actually, at 12 o'clock Eastern. Everything went live. You can get it on Ethereum, Polygon, and I think one other chain, and then Arbitrum. I would highly recommend, in my opinion, if you're going to get into this, probably Arbitrum's the best bet, because that's where the staking and stuff is going to be happening anyways, so you might as well just keep it all in the same place. If you haven't added Arbitrum to your wallet yet, with MetaMask, actually, it's really darn easy. You just go add network, and Arbitrum's already there as one of the default ones you can add, so you don't have to worry about putting the wrong information or anything, and you just get that in there. They have raised just under the $200,000 mark in their first kind of 12 hours or so. Which is not too shabby, and we'll see how that goes into the rest of the week, and go from there. White paper, a very well written white paper. Obviously, your first thing is your usual stuff. Why KERC? What is crypto ERC? So it's just bridging the gap, and healthcare in Southeast Asia is where they're setting things up right now, and where they're looking to do it. KERC is an uncomplicated way to acquire real work income generating healthcare assets. So that's really the long and the short of it. Really not too anything crazy there. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. I did want to stop here quickly. This was one of my concerns, and oddly enough, when I landed on this page and saw that Truth Bombs and Dow King were the first two on there, I did pause. I will admit it, because it made me think that maybe Truth Seekers was involved in this in some way. And actually, I did take the time, because I do really like content from, and obviously we'll come back to James in a second, but Crypto Labs, Lucas, and oh my god, I'm totally pulling a mind. Like Colin. I was almost going to get to him, but Lucas and Colin, great guys. Really love them. They have a good chemistry when they're talking about things. And like I said, you had John right here, the CEO, or the guy that's running the show for KERC. I do appreciate these guys' content. So if you want a really good AMA with them, and you need to be a little bit shorter, then this one's the way to go. If you want something a little longer with huge detail, then obviously Yabonks is the way to go. We'll go into great detail and talk to John and really get every little piece of detail he can about John, making sure that he's legit and ready to take on this endeavor. And another guy, which I cannot complain about too, is Matt Hatter. So if you have some chance and you want to get a little bit more content, then these are the guys to watch. And it doesn't look like True Seekers is involved at all. The only partnership, and like I said, these guys kind of asked the question. They did tippy-toe around it quite a bit. I was hoping for something a little bit more direct, but they did ask the question, and John said the only partner they have is D-Hedge. I think they were trying to figure out whether True Seekers was involved. Again, nothing. Just the problem is the projects they do, they haven't really done the best, and so I wasn't really too pleased when I saw those two guys being the head kind of promoters right away. The promotion systems seem to work very similarly to what Truth Seekers did with just kind of getting out to everybody. The other great thing is this one here, not a paid sponsorship ad or anything. They do these for their community. They get paid by their community, so that's how they support themselves and like to find this content for their community. So I really appreciate how they do their thing. It's not for everybody. I don't charge for my community. There's goods and bads to both, and I don't discredit them. And like I said, I really love their content. They're very detail oriented and get into a lot of detail. The other big thing to mention is James Pelton actually is going to Malaysia, going to meet with John in person, going to see behind the scenes. He actually should be there now or on his way there now. So definitely something there. And on top of that, to even increase the transparency of what they're doing, there will be, I believe, 4 winners during the pre-sale who will get flown out there as well and get to see behind it. So cross my fingers. Hopefully I get to do that, because that'd be a cool little trip, although a lot of travel time, and a great way for me to document for you guys behind the scenes what's going on there, and hopefully back up what James is going to see and go from there. So other than that, I don't want to get too crazy into the white paper. There is a couple of things I think that are worth looking at. Obviously, make sure you take a look at the tokenomics. A couple of neat things to note actually while we're here is 1.5% a month is kind of their fixed rewards. So that's what they feel is 110% sustainable for them. No matter what, they can give you guys 1.5% of the par token price. So this is in KERC tokens. Keep that in mind. And I'll go through a couple of things that I feel with that. And so you'll constantly get that. And then on top of that, there's the revenue split and other things that you can get, as well as, and I believe it's in here. Actually, this is one of the things that goes through some things. So there's different staking lengths that you can do, and based on those staking lengths, you can get your largest APY. And this is where, like you saw, friggin' Truth Bomb or whatever his name is there, go 200, 300 and some APY. I don't like going in, obviously, best case scenario. That's the last thing I want to do. I'm not here to hype train this whole thing. I think there's a ton of value to this protocol. I'm looking very forward to seeing what they do as a corporation, as a company, as they grow, and to be part of earning that. And I think we earn like 80% of the profits go to the token holders, which is pretty amazing. I almost wonder why they're going that high, to be honest. But if they can do that and still keep 20 for themselves, that's still a lot of profits for themselves. This is a pretty sweet little opportunity for us. The big thing here is you can only do the staking or the vesting of your tokens, which gives you bonus tokens if you do it during the pre-sale. So there's some big incentives for you to do this during the pre-sale. The issue there is, like we've seen with any token, is the value of the token could go down. So you could be sitting on tokens that are vesting that just go down and down and down if this doesn't succeed, and then your money's basically gone. So this is where the risk comes in, and I don't know if a lot of people have really gone into much detail as to what that can do to you by vesting your tokens and getting your highest APY. We've seen it with rebase tokens. Getting your highest APY doesn't mean diddly if the token value goes to nothing. And you can't pump and dump this one because it's OTC, which I really love, but which will help at first, but long term, if things don't go well and when they do create a liquidity pool, if people trade this to death and that kind of stuff, then it could be some issues. So getting into that a little bit, do keep in mind they're starting out with an OTC system. This is, I really like, and I have a project, and I'm not going to get into it obviously right now. I really like the idea of an OTC because it forces people to hold the token, which is good and bad, obviously, and it helps them really do what they need to do. Because the thing is, you can't have people pump and dumping this token if you need to take the money out and then buy assets with it, which is what they're going to need to do. You can't, if in a venture capitalist, you give your money away, you don't get to just pump and dump the token while they go and while they're trying to use your money to go and buy the businesses that you've authorized them to buy in order to earn you income. So same thing here. This is very close to that in the sense that you give them your money. Now they take that money, they pull it off chain, and they're going to buy real life assets that they need to then turn over and create a profit on. They will have to keep some of those assets aside and make some money probably through different systems. And I believe they talk about that so that they can earn the 1.5 minimum kind of thing that they need to pay out to holders monthly. But in the most part, everything's going off chain and buys the clinics and then upgrades the clinics and buys the equipment they need for the clinics and then hires the doctors they need for the clinics. And then it starts turning a profit. So I do like this because they have to keep these tokens as locked up as they can so that people aren't pumping, dumping them and killing the liquidity. What I'm not a huge fan of, and I hope they do it right, and it's really going to depend on timing, and it could make or break this protocol, in my opinion, or one of the things that can make or break this protocol, is once they introduce an LP, so a liquidity pool. So it looks like they're going to do some farming and stuff, so this might be where you lock it up and whatnot. But they have talked about having the token on an actual centralized exchanges and releasing the token into the wild. Once they do that, that's where people can start pump and dumping, speculating, moving the token price, and that's where things could get a little bit more wishy-washy with how much you're going to earn on the token and that kind of stuff. So a little bit concerned about that, but if they time it right and they get enough base built up in the token and enough of a liquidity pool built up in the token, that can really that can stabilize the price validity drastically. So if they do that right and they get a good liquidity pool built up and they manage their tokenomics really well, then that shouldn't hurt it, but it's still going to be a breaking point potential for it. So I do want to make sure they're careful with that. But again, the AMAs that I've seen, everything seems to be, they seem to have a good head on their shoulders to make sure this happens right, but just be aware and cautious of that. And that's how I'm going to play this one right now. Is I'm not going to go in too heavy as much as I'd love to, and I think there's lots of opportunity here. My max probably on this one is going to be $1,000 in the, and that's for me. Everybody's got their own risk tolerance or whatever. So it's going to be 1,000 for me probably in the pre-sale. And then I'll probably lock those up for the 12 months and take a chance on it and just ride it. And then over time, if I'm seeing the results and seeing the real, like seeing the actual transparency of what they're actually doing and seeing a revenue sources being created and seeing all the stuff that they're talking about, right? Because right now it's all talk. If I see all that stuff come to fruition and we're able to prove that through transparency in what they're doing, then at that point, I definitely might go heavier into this one. And this might become one of my pillars, I guess, or my strong legs of my table when it comes to my investment portfolio. In which case I'd raise my capital in here over time. I'm not a rich person. I do not have the funds just to start throwing it in there. But to DCA in maybe $100 a week, $250 a week, I could definitely see myself doing that if we see something here that's sustainable and long term, and have no issues doing that once I've got that little $1,000 base. So yeah, call to action as always. The things you need to do right now: get into the Discord. You can do so right from here. I'll have the link probably right in the description of the video, and then see what you want to get. Research that. Go in to see some of those AMAs with John. Get informed. Do your research, see how you feel about KERC and about the people that are running the show, and then go from there. I can't really go into any more detail than that. There's lots of other, I did want to go into more detail. Revenue sources was something I wanted to go into on here, and I apologize for that, because I believe it goes through it. Oh, maybe it's up here. Business model. So provision of medical services, so fee for services, so your x-rays, your imaging, your diagnosis, all that stuff. Healthcare is a subscription, so fees to members to give them deals and stuff. So we see that all with air miles and all kinds of different like loyalty things. And they do have a DApp, I guess, or an app, for phones and stuff for people that use their services, which is already ready to go, which again is that infrastructure and barrier to entry type stuff that is very robust, I guess, compared to what's out there. So some neat things there. Automation as a service, fee for other practitioners and practice automation software, managed services, and then pharmaceutical sales. So this could be a massive earner for the whole thing, so something to keep in mind. And like I said, there's all your different salary and stuff like that. So again, not to kind of beat a dead horse, definitely something I think everybody should be looking into. I definitely think it's something that you should explore. I am going to get into this one. How heavy I go between like 500 to 1,000, I'm not sure 100% yet. I might put 500 in now, and then maybe towards the end of the pre-sale, depending on how it's going, I might put a little bit more in to kind of top it up a bit, and then go from there. All in all, I guess, like I said, my overarching kind of thing is I'm really excited for what this opportunity brings, but I'm cautious to how they're going to execute it. He seems to talk the talk. He seems to know his stuff, which is fantastic, and which is what we need in this space. But it's still vision to reality is sometimes a hard road, especially in this space, in DeFi in general. I don't know what hurdles he has to worry about for legislation and barriers to entry for that country, because I'm not part of that country. I know here this would be probably impossible, which is probably why he's not doing it here. And not only that, it would be probably too expensive to do it in the way that he's going to be doing it here. 2 million doesn't go very far in Canada or the US kind of thing when it comes to healthcare. It's a drop in the bucket kind of thing. So I wish them nothing but the best. I am very excited for something IRL like this, and I hope they really do find a way to make this successful. And as I said, I could see it, obviously not financial advice, and who knows what's going to happen, but I could see something like this, if it's done well and kicks and kind of gets going, it could be, like I said, an Amazon or a Google of the DeFi, of Web3 kind of thing. So we shall see. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. Again, hit that like button on your way out, or subscribe if you'd like to get more content like this as I grow the channel and kind of change my ways and learn from my mistakes and find better ways to find wins for you guys and my community. I do have a Discord. You can click on that below as well, and a Telegram. I'm mostly in the Discord, but both of them are great, and we've got some great things coming up soon, so get in there and get informed. And I just thank you so much, guys. I appreciate all you do and all the support you give. So thank you.